Okay, I wanted to prepare a quick note regarding the homework assignments that you're doing in these Excel spreadsheets. One thing I noticed was that a number of people seemed to go to more effort than was necessary and at the same time generated some pretty aggressive rounding errors by typing in things manually rather than using Excel cell references. So I wanted to go ahead and do a quick illustration to show what I think is a better way to do this. Again, there's less clerical typing involved. It gives you more accurate answers, and in the long run, it's better to have these skills than to not have these skills. So here's an example. Total shares outstanding 140,552. Shares purchased 59,590. Total dividends paid 30,569, and the question becomes, what are the dividends received by the investor? Again, these are random numbers. So my first order of business is to highlight the entire cells, right-click copy, right-click again, paste as values, and now I've got some fixed values here. And if I wanted the dividends received by the investor, and if I wasn't thinking of letting Excel do these calculations for me, I might pull up my handy-dandy calculator and say, okay, the percentage ownership, 68,254 shares, divided by 159,629, gives me 42.75%, or percentage ownership okay, so again, 0.427522568. That rounds off to a nice round 43%. And so I'm going to go ahead and say the dividends received by the investor, and I go ahead and type in 0.43 times total dividends, and I get $17,610.70 or 65 cents. Now again, this has, there are two problems with this. First, this number is incorrect because it is a product of a fairly aggressive rounding. Second problem is that this took a lot more keystrokes than it really should have. Especially if I'm going to be using that percentage ownership over and over again. Every time I want to get the dividends received or the value of the portfolio and things of that nature, I've got to type in 0.43, which is an incorrect number. If I want it more accurate, I got to type in more digits carried out to 4, 5, 6 decimal places. So the preferred way of doing this is to go ahead and select a cell, label it clearly so you know what it is and so I know what it is, and say, okay, the percentage ownership is the shares purchased divided by the total shares, 0.427579, and again, this goes out to however many digits Excel carries in its memory. So now when I do the dividends received by the investor, it's simply a matter of, you can use my mouse, so it's going to be this cell, the percentage ownership, times this cell, or 17,511. Again, in the long run, especially if that value is going to be used, if that percentage ownership is going to be used for a lot of different calculations, it's much nicer to have it's much more efficient to do it this way. And secondly, you're going to get a more accurate answer. The rounding error here is about $100, which 1/16th, 1/17th. That's about a 5. Oh, I'm not good. What's the percentage? I should take my own advice to task. If I heed my own advice and let Excel do this, it's a 1/2% rounding error, which is not insignificant. So anyway, just wanted to go ahead and mention that you don't have to do this. If you want to type stuff in by hand, feel free. You'll get better answers, and again, it's better to be able to get more familiar with these spreadsheet manipulations. It's a valuable sort of mindset to have. Okay, thanks.